The true heiress, after the revelation of her thoughts, has become the darling of the entire group. After being lost for 18 years, I have suddenly become the young lady of a wealthy family. I defiantly raised my middle finger to the heavens and exuberantly proclaimed, "Oh, you blind heavens, you have finally opened your eyes. This overwhelming fortune has finally come my way." The heavens, inherently envious, bestowed upon me a bolt of lightning. Subsequently, I awakened as an NPC within the narrative. 1. I found myself seated within the confines of the Sheng family's private jet, my gaze fixated on the clouds drifting past the window, enveloped in a profound silence. The Sheng couple, noticing my demeanor, felt a pang of sorrow. Their daughter had evidently endured much suffering to be rendered so taciturn. Yet, in the next moment, their expressions morphed into one of despair. Wow. Truly, the wealthiest of the wealthy. Just look at the opulence of this private jet. The windows are even adorned with diamonds. I must discreetly snag a few to take with me. The couple exchanged glances before turning their eyes towards their daughter, who was as still as a maiden. They comprehended that there was a deep bond of empathy between mother and child. Recognizing her fondness for diamonds, they hastily messaged their wayward son, instructing him to prepare a suitable gift for our meeting. When no responses came from the family group chat, their faces darkened, prompting them to direct their assistant instead. Clearly, sons could be utterly unreliable. Suddenly, Sheng mother leaned closer, proffering her phone to me, saying, "Darling, this is for you. You may take whatever you desire from it in the future." As I glanced at the screen displaying the diamond boutique with the name Sheng and emblazoned upon it, I smiled faintly, delicately refusing, "Mother, that wouldn't be appropriate." Yet, tears streamed down my cheeks as I bit into my handkerchief. Oh, the maternal intuition. "Mother, my beloved mother, please refuse me. Assert your extravagant generosity and insist that I accept it. Hurry, don't make me beg you." Sheng mother paused, chuckling softly. Her precious child was truly amusing. She gently ruffled my hair, saying, "Just accept it from me, dear. This is but a small token of my affection. I will prepare something even more splendid for you later. Do not decline, lest you wound your mother as heart." With a reluctant nod, I acquiesced, murmuring, "All right, thank you, mother." Inside, I was screaming with uncontainable joy. Aha! My mother, my dear mother. This is my own mother. Am I now the owner of a store worth millions? Ha ha ha. Alas, how unfortunate for such a wonderful mother. She will later be driven to despair by my eldest brother's infatuation with the false daughter, Sheng Shi, and subsequently fall into deeper depression due to my second brother's tragic demise, culminating in my third brother's life sentence that will ultimately crush her. Perhaps I should gather more resources so that when I eventually flee, I can bring her along and sever all ties with the Sheng family. That way, she might escape calamity. Yet, would she truly follow me? Upon hearing this, Sheng mother's complexion paled, and she leaned weakly against Sheng father. I looked over inquiringly, cautiously asking, "Mother, are you feeling unwell?" Sheng mother was at a loss for words. How could she confess that she was startled by the resonance of my thoughts? She could not. Sheng father, observing her distress, offered a gentle smile. "Your mother might just be suffering from motion sickness, dear. You should rest well while I take your mother to see the doctor." I nodded, and Sheng father assisted Sheng mother toward the airplane's medical bay. Meanwhile, I pondered whether there were alternative strategies to consider. Ever since I learned of my sudden elevation to a wealthy heiress, I had defiantly signaled to the heavens, only to be struck down by its envy. It was then that I awakened to the realization that the world I inhabited was nothing more than a book, where the Sheng family served as a stepping stone for the protagonist, Sheng Shi, on her path to becoming the richest woman. And I was merely an NPC with but 3 appearances. After much contemplation, I decided to spare my mind the effort and take a nap instead. As I gazed at the mansion before me, reminiscent of a castle, I stroked my chin, fearful that I might drool. Goodness! Is this the grandeur of a wealthy family? How narrow-minded I have been! Sheng father and mother exchanged resigned smiles. Sheng father approached, utilizing retinal recognition to unlock the grand entrance, where 2 rows of maids and butlers bowed in unison, exclaiming, "Welcome home, young miss." Oh my, what an impressive display. The tropes of domineering CEO literature do not deceive me. I turned my attention to Sheng Shi, standing at the forefront in a white slip dress. flanked by her impeccably dressed domineering CEO elder brother, the charmingly flamboyant film star second brother, and the spirited esports prodigy third brother. My mother truly knows how to bear children. Each one of them is remarkably good-looking, though none can rival my unparalleled beauty. Just as I finished my musings, I caught the sound of a scoff. I turned to investigate. It's the second brother. No matter. I shan't engage with the unfortunate soul who is about to be subjected to a rather rude awakening. Shang-Chi stiffened, bewildered by the audacity of this newly returned child. What on earth are you saying? Are you out of your mind? His face turned a ghastly shade as he pointed at me. Huh. Are you talking about me? I responded, bewildered, glancing between myself and him. Before he could utter another word, Shang's father stepped forward and firmly patted his shoulder, offering a benevolent smile. Do you wish for me to withdraw my investment? Shang-Chi immediately fell silent, turning his face away from me. Although Shang-Chi was perplexed by her brother's sudden behavior, she paid it little mind, as it ultimately served her interests. She was determined to maintain her position and would not risk losing her current favor. She was the sole legitimate daughter of the Shang family. Stepping forward, she linked her arms with those of Shang's father and Shang's mother, flashing a sweet smile to lighten the mood. Daddy, Mommy, and little sister, let us hurry inside. You've all traveled a long way and must be exhausted. I have already instructed the butler to prepare afternoon tea. Here we go. The protagonist is ushering in the White Lotus narrative. Once we enter, she will serve me tea and then deliberately spill hot tea on herself to feign injury. Truly, a worthy protagonist. She is ruthless to others and equally so to herself. Shang's father and mother's smiles faltered as they recalled their darling daughter's previous sentiments, deciding to take a cautious approach and observe the unfolding events to discern their authenticity. They suppressed their inner distaste and gently replied, "Indeed, she is quite thoughtful. Let us proceed inside." I obediently followed behind Shang's father and mother, disregarding the probing gazes of Shang-Chi and the others. Just as we settled down, Shang-Chi emerged from the kitchen, carrying a cup of milk tea toward me, her face alight with cheer. "Sister, this is the milk tea I personally made for you. May I offer you a taste?" I nodded, presenting a professional smile honed over the years. Since she wished to play her little game as an NPC, I would oblige her for now. Upon my agreement, Shang-Chi's smile grew warmer. As she extended the milk tea towards me, in an instant it toppled, causing her to cry out in pain as she clutched her hand. I swiftly grasped her hand, pressing it firmly against the burn, my eyes brimming with concern as I exclaimed, "Oh, sister, are you all right? It's all my fault for not catching the tea. I've never seen such a beautiful teacup before, and I was momentarily entranced. I'm so sorry, it was unintentional." Shang-Chi's heart raced. She longed to shout. Those were my words. But she couldn't. She had to maintain her image as the innocent and fragile princess. Taking a deep breath, she replied, "It's all right. I wasn't paying attention either. It's not your fault, sister." I sniffled, asking, "Really? You truly don't blame me?" Shang-Chi nodded with a smile, and I promptly brightened, joyfully exclaiming as I grasped her injured hand, "Sister, you are simply the best." Victory of magic over magic achieved. Shang's father and mother watched the unfolding drama with mixed feelings. From that moment forth, their faith in their darling daughter's sentiments solidified. Meanwhile, Shang-Chi and his brothers furrowed their brows, unable to comprehend how Shang-Chi had unwittingly mirrored the sentiments of this wild child. What could possibly explain this? Wasn't Shang-Chi supposed to be the epitome of purity and kindness? 2. "Hey, second brother, have you arrived?" "Yes, I'll be there shortly," Shang-Chi replied nonchalantly, gripping someone by the collar. I watched as he hung up the phone, my expression one of utter disillusionment. All I desire is to be a couch potato at home. Why have I been dragged out? Just moments ago, I was lounging in the private cinema, engrossed in Tom and Jerry, munching on chips and laughing to my heart's content. Yet, how did this fool manage to pull me away? What on earth is happening? Shang-Chi's expression darkened at my words. How dare I question? He had just gone to invite her to dinner when, to his surprise, he overheard her chattering thoughts. Oh dear, Tom can never catch Jerry. It's a bit like the antics of my cheap second brother and Chin Sheng tonight. Quite the appetizing game, isn't it? It surely aids in subsequent digestion. Should I sneak a peek at them tonight? After all, my cheap second brother is rather handsome, and Chin Sheng is quite a dapper fellow. The imagery is simply too delightful. Shang-Chi crushed the jade ring on his thumb, astounded by the audacity of this wild girl. After the initial shock subsided, he began to deduce from Shang An's musings. Chen Sheng? Tonight? The only engagement he had was the dinner with Shang-Chi, where Chen Sheng, as the renowned director, was a key participant. This indicated that the events in question transpired during this gathering. Having made this connection, Shang-Chi decided to bring her along. Casting a sidelong glance at the reluctant Shang An, he produced a black card from his pocket and said, "Stay by my side tonight, and this black card is yours." My eyes brightened, fixated on the card as I rose and bent in a flattering smile, exclaiming, "I will heed my second brother's wishes. For the black card, I shall charge forth. I adore money and money adores me." Shang-Chi's lips twitched. He truly hadn't expected this wild girl to be, as his parents described, obsessed with wealth. Recalling a discussion from a few days prior when their family deliberated on her precognitive abilities, it was more accurate to say that the Shang couple unilaterally declared their belief in Shang An's foresight, urging them to be cautious and prepared. If they were to dismiss it, then so be it. Should anything occur, they would be cast out. Ultimately, the couple advised their 3 sons, "Be mindful. She has a little hobby, an affection for money. This fondness is splendid. We need not exert ourselves to please her. In the future, when you need her assistance, simply shower her with money to keep her content." As his parents had remarked, this girl was indeed easy to placate. He brought her along to firstly disprove her foresight and secondly to allow her to witness the reality, hoping to clear her mind of wild imaginings. He couldn't fathom that Shang-Chi would entrap him in such a predicament. At the dinner, Shang-Chi was pouring wine for the cold-faced Chen Sheng, cheerfully stating, "Director Chen, my second brother will arrive shortly. I would appreciate it if you would take me to the International Film Festival." Chen Sheng, upon hearing this, cast a meaningful glance at Shang-Chi and replied, "Let us see how you perform." A glimmer flashed in Shang-Chi's eyes as she smiled sweetly, assuring, "Rest assured." Just then, Shang-Chi pushed open the door, feigning a smile, "Apologies for my tardiness." Shang-Chi greeted him with a smile, but her expression froze when she noticed me behind Shang-Chi. Internally, she was in turmoil. What was this woman doing here? What was this fool Shang-Chi thinking? Ignoring her faltering smile, I cautiously peered from behind Shang-Chi and asked, "I missed you so much, sister. So I came with second brother. You won't be angry, will you?" "No way. No way. How could sister be angry? You're supposed to maintain the image of a gracious and kind sister." Ha ha ha. Shang-Chi felt as though his head would explode from her audacious laughter. He lightly tapped her head, saying, "Be sensible." With the benefactor's command, I naturally complied. Although I was merely obediently trailing behind him, the benefactor's word was law, even if he was acting irrationally. Shang-Chi playfully chided Shang-Chi, "Second brother, how could you be so stern with your sister?" She then took my hand gently, saying, "How could I be angry? I've missed you too. I've been too busy these past few days to spend time with you. This is a perfect opportunity for you to broaden your horizons." Is she mocking me for being inexperienced? No matter, I shall retaliate. I tilted my head innocently and asked, "Sister, does broadening horizons mean dining with these uncles?" As soon as the words left my mouth, everyone at the table turned their gaze toward Shang-Chi, their eyes filled with discontent and reproach. Shang-Chi felt as though she might go mad. Shang-Chi had indeed come to vex her. Yet in front of so many people, she could only swallow her frustration. She patted my head affectionately, saying, "Of course not. They are all distinguished directors and producers. My little sister is just a bit naive." Turning, she raised her glass to toast the table, apologetically stating, "I apologize. My sister just returned from the countryside and is still learning the ropes. I hope everyone can bear with her. This drink is my way of making amends." As Shang-Chi was about to drink, Shang-Chi snatched the glass from her hand, asserting, "All of you are prominent figures in the industry. Surely you wouldn't hold this against my sister?" Naturally, everyone nodded. Shang-Chi was now a hotshot actor, and they were willing to extend him this courtesy. I pouted. Well, the benefactor has intervened, so I shall temporarily behave. After all, I vented my frustrations. Shang-Chi, touched, clung to Shang-Chi and cooed, "Thank you, second brother. You treat me the best." Shang-Chi nodded. "All right, let us take our seats." With that, Shang-Chi beamed and led us to our places. After several rounds of drinks, Shang-Chi excused himself to the restroom, and I intended to follow, for the benefactor had instructed me to stay close. However, he stopped me, and I resigned myself to indulging in crab. I must say, the private chef was quite skilled. While I was enjoying my meal, Shang-Chi encountered misfortune upon exiting the restroom. He was swiftly subdued. Before losing consciousness, he pressed the number 1 on his phone. 3. The god of wealth has arrived. The god of wealth has arrived. Good deeds yield good returns. The ringtone blared, drawing the attention of everyone at the table. Shang-Chi felt her breath quickening. She sensed her composure slipping away with every passing moment during this meal. Did this woman really have to use such a tacky ringtone? I leisurely glanced at the caller ID, calculated the situation, and continued to savor my crab. No rush, I would finish my meal before heading over. Once I had devoured the last crab, I stood and headed out, only to be intercepted by Shang-Chi. She gently inquired, "Sister, where are you off to?" I glanced at her with an innocent smile and replied, "I'm going to the restroom. Do you want to come?" Shang-Chi choked on her words, wishing she could tear this woman's mouth apart. But alas, she couldn't. Sooner or later, this woman would fall into her grasp. Moreover, Chun Sheng should have already accomplished his goal, and this woman had no means of locating Shang-Chi, so she resolved to disregard her. Having concluded this thought, she relaxed her grip and said, "I want to go. Make sure to hurry back, sister." I smiled and nodded as I departed. Upon arriving at room 999, I swiped my card and entered. As I approached, I overheard troubling words. "Chi-Chi, I swear I'm not here to harm you. I only want to help. Please come out, alright? Otherwise, you will only feel worse." Chun Sheng coaxed gently, barely able to contain himself. This time, he wouldn't have to amuse himself with posters at home. Listening to Chun Sheng's nauseating voice outside, Shang-Chi's despair heightened. He gripped the wardrobe handle tightly, biting his tongue to remain awake. What on earth was Sheng doing? If she didn't arrive soon, he would truly be in a dire situation. Wow. They sound like they're having quite the fun. Hearing Shang-Chi's thoughts again, he breathed a sigh of relief, but the tension returned. Let me take a moment to post on social media first. With his last reserves of strength, Shang-Chi shouted, "Sheng'en, besides the black card, I'll throw in a seaside villa." The sound startled me as I leaned against the door crack. How did second brother know I was here? But that was of little consequence. A seaside villa? I'm on my way. I leaped forward and delivered a swift kick to Chun Sheng, deftly removing the headband from my hair and expertly tying it in a tight knot around his head, then tearing off part of my skirt to stuff into his mouth. After a series of actions concluded, I gently smoothed the creases of my red dress and lightly tapped the wardrobe door. "My dear second brother, you are safe now." Upon hearing these words, Shang-Chi's nerves completely relaxed, and he fainted. After waiting for what felt like an eternity with no sign of movement, I opened the wardrobe door, only to discover he had succumbed to unconsciousness. A jolt of alarm surged through me. Hastily, I checked for his breath. Thankfully, he was still alive, and my black card along with the villa remained intact. With a surge of strength, I hoisted him up, and as I carried him out of the wardrobe, a thought crossed my mind. Could this be considered a rather peculiar form of coming out for my second brother? Azure seas, cerulean skies. Here I come. Armed with the property deed and black card bestowed upon me by my brother, I readied my suitcase for an impromptu getaway. Today the common folk are genuinely, truly joyous. Oh, but before embarking on my journey, I must pay a visit to my elder brother's company. Today he and Shang-Chi are bound to engage in some exhilarating office play. Upon hearing this, our parents, Sheng-Fu and Sheng-Mu, were instantly intrigued. One rushed to fetch the camera while the other prepared the selfie stick. Finally, the day had arrived. This was the day to capture the debacle of that scoundrel in splendid detail. Originally intending to deliver the property deed and black card before departing, Shang-Chi raised an eyebrow, deciding to postpone gifting Chun Sheng, who was busy at the sewing machine. Turning to observe the eager expressions of the three, my heart trembled. Could it be? They wouldn't want to accompany me on my escapade, would they? No way. Surely not. Hearing my inner turmoil, Shang-Mu quickly approached, saying, "Dear, before you travel, why not visit our company? You haven't been there since your return." So that was the case. As long as they weren't coveting my coastal villa, I was agreeable. I nodded obediently, all right. Meanwhile, Shang-Yi received a message from Shang-Chi and, after a fleeting glance, set it aside. He turned to the elegantly attired Shang-Chi, accepting the cup of tea she offered and feigning a sip. Shi, what brings you here today? Shang-Chi furrowed her brow, her face etched with worry. These past few days, I don't know if it's because of the previous dinner party, but my second brother has been ignoring me, even retracting the resources he had previously allocated to me. I wanted to apologize, but he refuses to see me. Brother, I truly didn't anticipate this outcome. I simply thought that since Chen Sheng is a renowned director, it would be beneficial for both me and my second brother to expand our connections.
Can you help me?
Please let me meet with him. I genuinely had no idea things would escalate like this. As tears threatened to spill from her eyes, Shang-Yi remained impassive, as though he were oblivious to her distress. Shang-Chi dug her fingers into her palm, slowly gathering her tears, and retrieved a sachet from her bag. Brother, this is a talisman for safety that I obtained from the temple. Please take it to our parents for me. I want he returned to be a nuisance. Shang-Yi accepted it with a nod. I will deliver it to them. Upon seeing him take it, she brightened. Thank you, brother. You are the best. I shall take my leave now and visit you again next time. Shang-Yi nodded as Shang-Chi rose to depart, but her steps were notably sluggish. Just as she was about to cross the threshold, Shang-Yi called out to her. Turning around, she found his eyes filled with warmth and affection, her lips curling into a sly smile. Locking the office door behind him, he approached her step by step, settling her in his embrace as he offered her tea, deftly unbuttoning his shirt with his fingers. Just outside the door, the four of us heard moans emanating from within. Sheng Fu and Sheng Mu exchanged glances before forcefully kicking the door open, brandishing their phones and camera as they rushed inside. Shang-Chi flashed a mischievous grin in my direction. Sister, shall we join in the spectacle? I felt momentarily disoriented. What on earth is happening with these three? They heard the commotion and didn't shy away. Instead, they charged in with eager anticipation. Are they truly family? Never mind. If there's a show to behold, I shan't miss it. Shang-Chi's smile widened. As we stepped inside, we found Sheng Fu and Sheng Mu frozen in bewilderment. I leaned closer for a better look, and my eyes sparkled with excitement.
Wow.
What a stunning sight of a beauty weeping amidst disheveled attire.
And
my elder brother's 8-pack abs are quite impressive.
wait.
What's going on with the peach blossom curse on his chest? So that's how the narrative in the original text portrayed my elder brother's romantic entanglements. Peach blossom curse?
What is that?
Sheng Fu, Sheng Mu, and I turned to Sheng En, our eyes filled with confusion. I stepped forward and swiftly pulled Shang-Chi away, my finger rapidly gesturing toward his chest, dispel. As the peach blossom curse vanished, I extended my hand towards my elder brother. Brother, a labor fee of 100,000. Shang-Yi rubbed his temples. First, explain to me what you just did. Why has that irresistible feeling I had for her vanished so suddenly? Being well-versed in explaining business matters to our benefactor, I promptly replied, I have lifted the peach blossom curse from you. As its name suggests, it refers to the binding of inappropriate romantic interests. This method typically requires gathering hair from the designated target and oneself, binding them to the branch of a century-old peach tree, and offering it for 99 days. Once the peach blossoms bloom, the blossoms must be consumed by the target, thereby establishing the curse. Those afflicted by the peach blossom curse will obey the commands of the caster for life, and any attempt to resist will lead to various physical ailments. Shang-Yi looked perplexed, but I didn't consume anything. I pointed at the teacup. That tea was brewed with peach blossoms. You must have drunk it. She likely used peach blossom incense to enchant you, and when you were compliant, she fed it to you. He glanced at the terrified Shang-Chi and summoned security to have her removed. As she cried out, Brother, I'm innocent. I had no idea that talisman would have such an effect. Shang-Yi ignored her, now genuinely believing he had misjudged. The sister he had nurtured for over 20 years had turned out to be a treacherous wolf in sheep's clothing. Seeing that Shang-Yi had truly made up his mind, Shang-Chi quickly turned to our parents, Mom and Dad. You don't believe me either?
I am genuinely innocent.
Both Sheng Fu and Sheng Mu disregarded her, while Shang-Chi stepped forward, pinching her chin with a cold tone. Shang-Chi, do you think everyone is a fool? Shang-Chi was taken aback, and Shang-Chi disdainfully released her, wiping his hands on my coat. I was instantly incensed, wanting to deliver a playful slap to him. Did he really consider me a mere rag? In the next moment, A melodious notification chimed. 10 million yuan has been deposited into your account. I swiftly removed my coat and respectfully handed it to him. If my second brother finds it useful, it is his honor as well as mine. Sheng-Chi continued to meticulously wipe his hands, while our parents stared in stunned silence at this unexpected turn of events, beginning to reconsider whether the monthly allowance of 500,000 they provided to their beloved was indeed sufficient. Sheng-Yi lightly tapped the table, and all four of us turned to him. He beckoned me over, and I eagerly approached. He placed a black card in my hand. If you're in such dire need of money, why didn't you tell me sooner? Go and spend freely. Don't be fooled by your second brother's meager funds. Also, your company's dividends should be credited to your account next month. I will instruct the finance department to include my share as well. I was ecstatic. Fortune has smiled upon me.
Ha ha ha.
My elder brother truly lives up to the title of a domineering CEO. Dear brother, please feel free to shower me with wealth. Hearing our thoughts, Sheng Fu and Sheng Mu remained silent, their silence echoing the tranquility of the evening. As I basked in the sunlight, gazing at the trending topic on my phone, I couldn't help but exclaim in disbelief, my third brother must truly be a fool. Simultaneously, others in the Sheng family shared this sentiment upon seeing the trending news. Sheng Fu and Sheng Mu promptly expelled him from the family group chat, while Sheng-Chi recommended a neurology specialist to Sheng Feng, and Sheng-Yi directly suspended all of Sheng Feng's cards. Upon witnessing the series of actions from his family, Sheng Feng was utterly bewildered. What had he done wrong? He merely assisted Shi by sending a post to vindicate her, did he not? He gazed at the tearful Sheng-Shi before him and inquired, Shi, have you quarreled with your family? Sheng-Shi paused in her motion to wipe away her tears, a flicker of panic crossing her eyes, before she forced a bittersweet smile and replied, my parents are angry with me. As for my sister, let us not talk about it. Third brother, you are all I have now. Upon hearing her words, Sheng Feng formed a judgment in his mind. It seemed that the wild girl, returned from her escapades during his 2 weeks of closed training, had been bullied by her family. Ruffling Sheng-Shi's hair, he reassured her, fear not, Shi. I shall return home shortly to inquire about the matter and seek justice for you. Sheng-Shi cast a side glance at the dimly flickering lights and replied with a gentle smile, thank you, third brother. After parting ways with Sheng-Shi, Sheng Feng headed straight home, bursting through the door to confront his parents, who were seated on the sofa. Father, mother, how could you treat Shi this way? Sheng father and Sheng mother did not lift their eyes but commanded the butler, throw this ungrateful child out. Sheng Feng, incredulous, exclaimed, father, mother. Cast out of his own home, Sheng Feng made his way to Sheng Yi's company. Upon seeing him, Sheng Yi immediately instructed his assistant to send him a document, then asked the assistant to escort him out. After reading the document, Sheng Feng muttered in disbelief, how is this possible? How could Shi do such a thing? He drove straight to Sheng-Shi's residence. My right eye twitched violently, and I calculated with my fingers. Oh no, silly third brother is in for a calamity. Should I help or not? Well, considering the financial support from my parents, I might as well extend a reluctant hand. However, if he continues to act foolishly afterward, I will withdraw my assistance. I cannot become too entangled in this cause and effect. Resolute in my decision, I changed out of my swimsuit and drove over. When I arrived, Sheng Feng was surrounded by a throng of media. I breathed a sigh of relief. I made it just in time. Suddenly, I spotted a suspicious man lurking nearby. Squinting my eyes, I delivered a swift kick to him. The crowd gasped in astonishment, and Sheng Feng, wide-eyed, rushed over to ask, what are you doing here? Who is this man? I had no time to answer. While deftly tearing off my tie to bind the man, I shouted, this individual has sulfuric acid on him. Please call the police. The crowd quickly complied, and within moments, the police arrived. I followed them to investigate, with Sheng Feng glancing back anxiously. At the police station, the man confessed that he had witnessed Sheng-Shi lamenting the malicious suppression she faced as the false heiress from the Sheng family, as well as Sheng Feng's attempts to exploit her predicament. As a devoted fan, he could not tolerate seeing his goddess suffer such injustice. Later, upon discovering through Sheng-Shi's post that Sheng Feng was at her doorstep, he sought to avenge her by destroying his hands and career. In his final confession, the man lamented his failure to avenge his goddess. He glared at me with malice, but I remained unfazed, returning his gaze with a cheerful smile. Sheng Feng stepped in front of me, blocking the man's glare, his expression a mix of complexity as he finally awkwardly uttered, "Thank you." I replied, "No need for thanks. Simply transfer me 100,000 as a service fee." He promptly complied, despite his card being blocked. He still had some spare change. Once I received the funds, I turned to leave, as my beach vacation was far from over. Later, upon learning of the incident, Sheng father and Sheng mother sent Sheng Shi away, conveniently preparing her a substantial care package for her time inside. Meanwhile, I received a treasure trove from Sheng father and Sheng mother, a small island from Sheng Yi, an airplane from Sheng Qi, and a heart of the ocean necklace from Sheng Feng. I hurriedly packed my belongings and set off for the island, ready to embrace the idyllic life of a landowner.
The end.
Thank you for listening, and we shall meet again in the next story.